Go ahead, continue at all times so that it will end all about mind and heart. When there is an obsession to take things into account, take the mind into account, take the heart into account, it's like topping up karmic difficulties onwards. Continue onwards, uninvolvement within itself at all times. With everything, later on, it will be by the essence of the great compassion without pushing. It will become automatic without pushing. Proceed simultaneously with everything like this, with the essence of uninvolvement within itself at all times, at all times. No is not know itself at all times. Disengage from itself at all times. No grasping on its own at all times, with everything simultaneously. Later on, there is no need to push the great compassion of the purification through the emptiness and the extinction at all. It will proceed accordingly, automatically. Wherever we are, the blessing is right there. There is no need to go anywhere for the blessing. An involvement within itself at all times with everything. Therefore, anywhere you are, even standing or sitting, there is great compassion. Walking or lying down, there is great compassion. However, most of the time, there is no great compassion when you are lying down, only just within oneself, sinking in oneself on and on. An involvement within itself all the time. Then when you lie down, the great compassion will be automatic through the purification of the extinction and the emptiness. Once an involvement within itself at all times, all the straying mental process will be purified automatically. Straying or restless mind. Once disengaging on its own with everything at all times, it will purify the mental process. The karmic difficulties of mental karma will be dissolved. All that fabrication of thoughts and recalls will dissolve and purified greatly. An involvement within the uninvolvements since before the start, disengaging from itself since before the start already. This is not about grasping, even for the non-grasping itself, even before starting, child. An involvement within itself at all times, child. Without choosing any moment of the mind in whatever kind of ways. Don't choose any moments of looking, seeing and knowing. purify at all times, at every moment. This is called not taking body and mind and all things into account. It's not about grasping. No grasping for the non-grasping itself. At all times, it will purify all the attempt to begin or to end right away. It will cease the attempt to begin or to end automatically. It will have nothing to do with the arising or ceasing, beginning or ending. It will purify all these automatically. Just be absolute, that's all. Promptly. Disperse simultaneously, awakening simultaneously with everything. The mighty force of awakening and brightening is like a power of Sunyata Samabadh, of the great compassion. Power of the great compassion is Sunyata Samabadh. Awakening in the way without holding back. Brighten out in the way without holding back. Brighten out and awakening in the way without limits. Disengage in the way without grasping for any limits, without boundaries. Disengage in the way that is not just disengaging, without grasping for disengagement, without grasping for the non-attachment. Dispersing in the way without grasping for itself, awakening without grasping for itself. That is derived from no grasping on its own. Therefore, the awakening doesn't grasp for itself either. Brightening will not grasp for itself either. The Samabadh will not grasp for itself either. It's derived from no grasping on its own. Even the Samabadh will not grasp for itself. That's why it's called Sunyata Samabadh. Disengage that has no identification within itself. Is derived from no grasping for the non-grasping itself. Purify both the attempt to begin and to end. Purify both the attempt to arise and to cease. When it's not yield to that which is bygone, when you wish to look after something, it's not yielding to that which is bygone in itself. That is invalid, doesn't work. Everything is bygone at all times. When you're not yielding to that, it's invalid. When you're wishing to look after something, it's like karma that is controlling. If you have the duty to control something, it's because you are acting on karma. There is just intentional karma, projecting, obliging, aiming. So for those who are controlling anything, Paul leaving this to them. This point. Disengage from itself thoroughly, uninvolvement within itself completely. This will purify all the controlling, not being obsessed with it. With everything disengaging from itself at all times, involvement within itself at all times. This is not only occasionally or moment to moment, at all times instead. Having enough of the having enough itself.